Thank you so much for that. It has calmed my nerves. I must tell you, I've never been so nervous about a talk in a very long time. You obviously get the nerves. But I tell you, I was nervous from the 1st of August. Every time I think of this day, I would sweat, I would shiver. But now that I'm here, it is so beautiful, and the nerves are great. The nerves are God saying, you are still here. You are still in the game. I want to greet my Facebook friends that are here. Please holla, Falk, hey. It's all of them. This is our show. I also want to greet my special friends, the Stretchers. Hello, Stretchers. Hi, hello, Stretchers. I have a group in Facebook called Stretch with Lebo, Pule. We work there. We awaken the divine feminine. I want to thank Abit Muzi for, I must tell you guys, you have never, ever met anyone so kind, so generous, so giving, so unending. His generosity is I'm always in awe of it. And he believes in me, and he has always seen beyond what I see. He is a big shoulder to cry on many things. So thank you, Buti, for inviting me. Yesterday, I was one of the delegates. I was one of the people that were welcoming the Americans. So we had the dinner, and so my bishop Koza asked us to sing for them, do the South African thing. So we mumbled something, and we got it right. And then the Americans, because they're very competitive, they decided, nah, we're going to do it too. So they sang this beautiful song from Agape, and it was also a Christian song. It was beautiful. So now I was sitting next to Abit Muzi's sister. I can't see her in there. So Abit Muzi Araiman. Isn't it supposed to be Americans? Kimang oil. And I'm like, no, she's one of the Americans. Arai, ngatupume Eastern Cape. She apparently looked closer. So when I told her later, she was like, yeah. I'm actually not going to share my journey, but I will probably interweave it because my topic for today is a question. I love questions. Stretchers know that. I love questions. I don't like answers very much. I think we have a big problem in the world because of answers and certainty. So I'm not a big fan of answers. But I will attempt to answer my question, hoping that when I answer it, it leaves even bigger questions with you. And my topic is, why do we need to awaken the divine feminine within us? Why do we need to rebirth it? And I don't think there has ever been a time in the world where feminine energy, feminine spirit, feminine power is needed like this time. We live in a very masculine world. There's too much masculinity, too much testosterone, too much violence, too much hostility, aggression, and fear in the world. And that comes from a masculine energy that has gone wrong. Because masculine energy and feminine energy are the yins and yangs that govern the universe. And when one is dominating over the other, you know that that power has gone completely off. There's no balance. And a lot of people don't understand what we mean when we say we live in a masculine world or there's too much masculine energy. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go into all of these, but masculine energy manifests in all aspects of our lives. You look at the politics of the world, and I'm glad the Americans are here because the biggest patriarch, misogynist, most hostile person is sitting in the White House today. And in as much as, it's like, he's taking us back, there's a positive, believe it or not, because it is a sign that the feminine energy has to rise. You see, if you don't listen, and had Clinton won, do you know we were going to go back to our lives as if the world is okay? We were going to be numb about the killings of non-armed black men. Trump won, and it is a sign that those who believe in equality, in justice, in feminine power need to actually rise. And I'm happy it is happening. I mean, it bothers me that every time I go to Twitter, I start with Trump's tweets. But I go there because I also want to see the people who respond to him. I particularly love J.K. Rowling's responses to him. She is so hilarious. Here at home, the ANC, the biggest liberation movement in Africa, the longest running, has never ever had a female president. And the biggest support of the ANC are women. I mean, the numbers talk. There are more women. Well, not a lot more, just in case the men think, they can do the whole polygamy thing. There are more women in the world, but it's not that much. So it's not a ratio of, these men who say, there are no men, there is 1 to 6 women. Nah, honey, it's not like that. It's probably 10, 11 type of thing. So the ANC is deeply, deeply patriarchal, and it is run on pure masculine energy, including the Women's League. Because remember, masculine energy and feminine energy exists in both the males and the females. And then you go into the economies of the world, and you find that the masculine energy, again, is predominant. The creation of monopolies, which actually are creators of poverty, profit-driven, eat or be eaten, eliminate the competition, highly, highly competitive, highly productive. There's a guy I love very much. His name is Rob Bell, and he always says that the economy it's work. It's like it's bricks. We are back in Egypt. And working around the clock is deeply masculine. The feminine rests, and I'll come to the feminine. The economies obviously affect how we do our careers. I have to be number one. I have to be the badass. Can I say badass? I have to be the badass in the boardroom. I have to suck up to the crazy boss. I have to be a hypocrite. I have to dominate. That is masculine energy. Oh, don't get me started on socially, and I'll run through it. Socially, women's beauty, women's bodies, women's marriage materialness is all determined by males. So when I wake up in the morning and dress, subconsciously, I'm thinking, I wonder if I look good for Mr. So-and-so. So the beauty that is innate in women, we do it for the men. Here's a story. I gained a bit of weight. Okay, I gained a lot of weight. I gained a lot of weight. So I bumped into a friend, an old colleague. I haven't seen this guy in like 8 years. I bumped into him some time ago when I was back in Joburg. And he said, yo, Lebza, hi, man. On my side, I know you're so big. And I'm like, but Luena, Ellington. And he had also gained weight. And Ellington says, Maraname, man. So, it doesn't matter. Sexuality, and I want to spend a little bit of time sharing a story here about sexuality, that it is purely run by males. I get a lot of people writing to me on Facebook. We all know them as who? The Anons. I think in 2013, a young lady wrote to me. She was terrified that she may or may have not lost her virginity. She tells me that she's never slept with a man, she's never had sex, but she went on camp, had some sexual attraction, chemistry with this other lady. They're both 22, 21. They spent a night together, same bed, had sex. And now she wants to know from me and my friends, because when they write to me, I post on Facebook and my friends give all sorts of advice. It's actually quite fun. And so she wants to know is she still a virgin or not. 80% of the respondents said no. Said yes, she's still a virgin because she hasn't had sex with a man. So our sexuality is determined very heterosexually. And we could spend a whole day talking about this, but again, I'm leaving questions in your head. At home, relationships are determined by men. If you are one of those women who love marriage, honey, until he pops the question, the relationship is going nowhere. So they lead the relationships. That's all masculine energy, completely unbalanced. And the big one, sorry, I have to do the big one. Almost all the religions of the world are male. We still don't have even 50% of priests, rabbis, pastors that are female. It's still a novelty. So, given that context, how do we then birth this feminine energy? And why do we need to awaken it? And perhaps let me start by defining it, because it bothers me that the definition of femininity is lipsticks and high heels and pink stuff. It's not that, it's bigger than that. Feminine energy is all the things that are not dominant in the world. And we're talking harmony. There's a myth that women are not harmonious together. That is a big myth. Feminine energy, in as much as it exists in both males and females, but we as women embody it more, which means it is incumbent upon us as females to bring it up, to raise the energy, to raise consciousness. And it is harmonious, it is creation. By virtue of you having a womb, and again, a womb is a whole topic that can take the whole day. By virtue of you having a womb, whether you've given birth or not to a child, you are given the spirit and the energy of creation. We are creators. We are birthers of life. You know, we always talk about the woman's touch. You know, you go into a bachelor's house, try as he may, you know, except for the Sillo Makekangobes of this world, who are very feminine. Try as he may, there will not be that life that a female adds into any room, into any space. The feminine energy is about collaboration. We collaborate so much. In 1956, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there were no hashtags. 20,000 women of all races marched to Ntate Stradom. There was no way that guy would have not passed the law against passes. And if that's not collaboration, I don't know what is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is the largest gathering in the history of this country. Oh, thank you. I can drink my water, okay. Feminine energy is about renewal, it's understanding, it's compassion, it's wisdom. In ancient times, and in all ancient scriptures, the Bible, the Korah, the feminine wisdom is personified as the woman. You read your Proverbs, and it's she. In ancient times, the wisdom lied with old women. And when masculine power gained dominance, those women were burned on stakes. They were called witches. Forgiveness is feminine energy. Sensuality is feminine energy. So how do you awaken it? Because I'm conscious of the time now. And I'm going to address women specifically, Gentlemen, I mean, it's your world anyway. Rediscover your creative energy. I know we always think that creativity belongs to the arts. By virtue of you being female, you have a creative energy. Find something that you used to love as a kid, play again, do scrapbooking. I'm a writer, so I'm always writing. I'm always awakening my creative energy. Gather with other women. Stop the isolation. And it happens naturally. We love the Stokvels. We love the book clubs. You hardly ever hear of a male book club. There is a lot of healing that happens when women gather. And I know that whenever we gather, we talk about our problems. But it's because we are so deeply wounded, especially South African women, especially black women. So it becomes natural that when we gather in one room, whether it's a Facebook group, and please create Facebook groups. Well, join mine first, and then you can branch off from there. Heal by rubbing against each other as women. Well, not physically, but do that. Cultivate a culture of openness, compassion, forgiveness, love for yourself first, because then you can spread it to others. Ladies, resist the urge to snap hair. Resist the urge to look, catch yourself doing that and find something beautiful to say to a fellow sister. Let us demolish this myth that Arutwane. 1956, they collaborated and they won. What else? Okay, I'm very unpopular about this, but I'm going to say it. We are going to have to forgive the men. I'm persona non grata in feminist circles for saying this, because as a feminist myself, I have, like Abut Muzi says, he's transcended. I have transcended the anger, the hurt. I am still hurt. The wrongs are still there. Deputy Minister Manana has to go to jail. He's in jail already. So when I say forgive, I'm not saying sit back and say, "Ay, kulungile baba." We have to stand up, because feminine energy is not cowardice. What frustrates me about women, which frustrates feminists, which makes feminists angry, is that women are so complacent. We take it. We grin and bear it. And then we leave a few women in front to fight this monster alone. And you wonder why feminists are angry. They have to be angry. But even with anger, we have to still transcend it, because nothing actually happens without forgiveness. A lot of people are Christians. What did Jesus teach? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they're doing. And I insist on forgiveness because it is such a high vibratory energy that it can literally heal the world. So we're going to have to do that. The other thing that will help you birth and awaken your feminine energy is to slow down. Part of why I went to the Karoo is to slow down. Johannesburg had become very hostile for me. It had become very choking. One day I'll share what I mean. There's no time today. Also be curious. Clarissa Pinkola, the lady who wrote Women Who Run with Wolves, talks about the wildness of the feminine in a sense that it is curious. It is always finding, like the wolves. So be curious, ask questions. Question your culture, question your pastor, please. Question your pastors. Bishop Khoza, question them. Stretch yourself from your comfort zone. Do not just conform because that's how we do it. Also, do not just rebel because rebelling seems woke. Question your whole existence. That's feminine energy. In conclusion, I want to say there's I just went blank. There's a Chinese proverb that says, women hold up half the sky. In fact, when I was wrestling with this topic, I thought my topic would be women hold up half the sky. So I want you to imagine the sky as something that we could literally hold. the men would be this side and the women would be this side. And if we don't hold up half of our sky, it becomes skew, which is what has been happening for 2,000 years of male dominance. Am I saying fight? We don't need to fight. Our energy is powerful. If you ever see a woman in her true femininity, you will see every head turn, men and women. So there is no need for violence. There is nothing violent about feminine energy. So we need to hold up half of our sky, stand up for what's right, point out injustices, block. Okay, no, don't block. Challenge those male friends of yours that talk a lot of rubbish about women. Stop the ha ha ha. Stop it. You challenge them, they will stop. Teach. Feminine energy is a teaching energy. Teach them. As you tell him off, teach him as well. Trust me, they listen. I fought with many, many guys on Facebook, and a lot of you know. And guess who are my most favorite supporters? They won't show you, they won't tell you. I'll show you my inbox if you don't believe me. But males will follow. They will test you because this is their world. They will test you, they will poke you, Tammy. But I want to wish you love and all green lights.